thing in there?
Turn me up. This is
coming to you from the heart of the Pacific, brought to you by Paulie by Design.
respected in all terms.
Broadcasting from San Francisco, California, the city by the bay.
It's about to go down.
We shine
Wanna
on
start
positive
over?
Pacific Islander role model every Sunday. From 10 a.m. to noon, it's time for the iconic Faika Broadcast with your hosts,
Listening to
Naki and Carl.
What's up, Naki?
Man, wait.
Like that intro. 10 a.m. to noon. Maybe
Does it
Guam.
now? We just have to have it say Sunday.
It's sometime in the Pacific. It's 10 a.m. somewhere in the Pacific, I think. So we are season 6, episode 13 of the Faika Broadcast, and we are fresh off a plane from Orange County. Naki was on the red carpet last night at the We Are Samoa Diamond Gala event. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Ketanji Brown Jackson's nomination, confirmation hearings in the Senate last week. What a circus that was.
Mhm.
And
That was so irritating.
we're going to talk about traveling with PBD and an adventure of wins and losses we had in a short 2-day trip to the OC. That's the show today. Naki, what's good?
Yeah. Good morning. Or actually, good afternoon. I'm so used to saying good morning, but good afternoon. Happy weekend. Crazy weekend. So where do I start? Yesterday we were in Costa Mesa.
Seems much longer than just yesterday morning.
Just yesterday. We were in Costa Mesa for the We Are Samoa Gala, celebrating Jerome Fatanana Gray, 75 years of everything, entertainment, the music, everything that he's represented for the Samoan community. His kids, all of his kids got together and had this fabulous, crazy, amazing event where a lot of the Pacific Islander community came together to help them celebrate their dad. So it was really beautiful. We left to Costa Mesa yesterday in the morning, and then literally returned this afternoon. And so then we jumped on the mic so we could talk about everything that happened last week and yesterday. So
we were kind of thinking that it's going to be a week old if we wait until next Sunday and we don't miss a show this way as well. So I think I heard we're competing with some small show on television called the Oscars.
The Oscars. Is it the Oscars? Yeah, we're competing with the Oscars. Wow. Good morning or good afternoon to our Maury, who is checking in on Facebook.
Just makes it seem like morning anyway, because Maury checks in right at the beginning of the show, whether we start at 10-ish or 3-ish.
Also, shout out to Eileen Sosaya, who's checking in. Francesca Sessi, Seta Leala Imatafao Samuelu. Okay,
look at Naki. Look at Naki.
Na Kele Ngasa Rawata Emmanuel Leota. All right, people checking in on Facebook. I'm going to need you to shorten your names. Hi, thank you for tuning in. Let me talk about my wins yesterday. So
first one started out. You got there on time.
I got there on time. Our flight left Sacramento. We left from Sacramento. So Mo dropped me off.
There's your first flight. Your first flight is riding with Mo.
My first flight is riding with Mo.
Because he drives, he flies low.
Bat out of hell. Yeah. he drives like a bat out of hell.
You landed your first flight on time at the airport.
And so we get there. You've got to go through this security gate or whatever. TSA. And we have TSA pre-check. And let me just tell you, in the morning when I checked in with everybody, we walked by at least two. The line was 200 or 300
people,
200 or 300 deep, and we walked right past them into the TSA line, and we went through, I'd say, a good 10 minutes. That was the longest. I'd have to say
probably not even
10 minutes. We just go through. You get to keep your shoes on.
I didn't know. So I travel a lot, and I've had TSA pre for a lot of years. So I was just kind of thinking we're doing the normal thing. And Naki's got a grin on her face the entire
I'm
way.
so happy.
We're standing in line to get to the TSA guy that checks your ID and thing, and she's smiling. We're walking past him to the conveyor belt where you got to put all your stuff up there. She's got this big grin on her face, and I don't know what it is until we get through. And then she's like, "We just beat all of them." I was like, "We beat?
We
Who
won.
we beat?
We beat those." So in the morning when I went live, when we started, we beat 200 to 300 people into the airport. And then we went to go have breakfast. But in the morning, it was 200 to 300 people that we beat. And as I repeat the story, by the afternoon, like an hour or two later, we beat 500 people into the airport. And then by the end of the night, we beat thousands of people into the airport. So I do. We have clear. It says Tadao is saying we have TSA pre-check. They say clear. Is clear the same thing?
Clear is different than, but same idea. You're
yeah.
still beating people if you got clear. I have clear and TSA pre, but they're both, you skip the lines either way.
I love it.
Less people are on clear, so actually clear is probably the fastest way. It verifies either through your facial recognition, like your eyeballs or your thumbprint. And then they walk you straight to the guy that's checking your ID.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay, clear. That's what I need. Now I'm getting clear now. I love TSA pre-check because we got to bypass everybody. And so in my head, I'm in a race all the time. So we won that race.
The
so
only
that's a win.
The only I don't know, drawback with clear that I've seen is that not as many airports have a clear lane as have a TSA pre lane.
Yes.
And not all airports have, not all terminals have a TSA pre line. So I think it's either LAX or one of the terminals in Orange County. They don't have TSA pre. You have to go to the other terminal. Some airports have it, some don't. But clear is it's not brand new.
But I've seen it for a minute. I just didn't understand it. But Tadao Salima says everyone has TSA now, so clear is the new thing.
It's like when all the kids fled Facebook. When the parents showed up, all the parents showed up, and the kids ran off to Instagram. It's like now the lines are starting to back up at TSA pre, so people are going to clear.
Right. So good afternoon, Joe Alatui. Thank you for tuning in. Violetta Seunga Gabriel, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. So we get through TSA and we go to breakfast, and Carl goes to this place because he travels all the time. We went to
Esquire Grill.
It wasn't open yet, so we're standing in line. We're first, by the way, so then that's a second win.
First in. And we there's a lady that lined up in the wrong line because we were first in line.
Yeah.
And Naki's first concern was that she was going to beat us in.
Yeah.
And then everybody lined up behind us. And so she's like standing off on the side. She's actually, her and her kid are the second people in line.
Right.
But now she's not in the line.
Yeah.
And she kind of gave up because she didn't want to come over and try to wedge her way in.
Right.
So she was walking off like she was going to go to the back of the line.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, come on.
So we're standing on the left side where it's please wait to be seated. That's where the line begins. And her and her child were on the right side of the restaurant entryway. And so then I was like, oh, what's she doing? She's trying to cut us.
She's got a kid. Naki's like, I don't give a damn about the kid. We're going to be the first ones in.
We have to be first. And so then the line started forming behind us. And then when the hostess finally opened up the door to let everybody in, she started, like you said, she started to go towards the end, and you were very nice. You're like, oh no, you were here with us. And so the hostess took
both of us
in at the same time, so she didn't have to go.
I felt bad for her because I could tell she was like, oh, now it's going to look like I'm cutting. So she didn't want to do that. And then she was just going to punt and say, okay, we'll go to the back of the line.
Yeah, just to start. No. She was very, very cute, very nice. I was like, well, as long as we get in first.
You can step in the restaurant half a second behind us, but it's got to be behind us.
Yeah, it was good. So we had breakfast and then got on the flight.
Let's back up a second. So Naki's there first because Air Mose dropped her off early at the airport. And then she's waiting for me to get there before she goes through TSA. So I get out of the Lyft ride and I message her, "Hey, I'm here. Where are you?" And then I walk in and I see Naki
with a big ass bag,
a big ass bag, a big ass pink bag. And I'm looking at it going, "Oh, are you checking a bag?" And she's like, "No." I go, "That's not a carry-on bag.
Yeah.
That is a check bag."
Yeah.
And she goes, she doesn't want to hear that.
No.
She refuses to believe that that is too big. And I'm like, that is not a carry-on. And so we go over to a TSA employee and we ask her, "Is this too big for a carry-on?" She goes, Yep, we can measure it, but I'm pretty sure it's still too big. So we go over, Naki's still refusing to hear that it's not a carry-on bag, which it's not. We go over to the little measurement area, and sure enough, it's too big.
It's like a half an inch half an inch.
It's a pass-fail test.
Bigger than the thing. And I said, "Well, if I didn't have the wheels on it, it would fit. Let's go." And then I said, "Don't you think it'll pass?" She goes, "Well, you can try it,
take it to the gate, but they may check it anyway."
They may check it in anyway. And I was like, "No, they're not." In my head, I was like, "No, they're not going to check it. It's going to go."
And we're B40 and B41.
Yeah.
So we're not in the
Southwest.
Yeah. And it's going to be hard. You're a B, a late B, you're going to be fighting for overhead space. So we're both saying, well, we're going to have to find a place for this if they even let us on with it.
Yeah.
We're not sure she's going to even get on the plane with it.
I was confident that I was going to get on the plane with that. So we get in and we start to go, I think, and then so we get in and all the first, I don't know, 5 to 8 rows,
probably 10.
Yeah, were packed. They were full. And so I look on top of the overhead and I see that there's space. That means everyone that's seated has put their bag up or it went down. And so there was this big ass space. I took my luggage and threw it in there sideways and it fit.
And it fit. And then that's like row 8. And then we went to row 30. We sat nowhere near Naki's bag. And I was glad because I didn't want somebody going, "Whose big ass bag is this?" And us being around. So we got back there. There's win number 1. She got on the plane with it. Or actually, that's win number 2 or 3. And then she finds overhead space. So that's good. And then we were told it's a full flight. So we get towards the back. And I don't know, there's 5 or 6 empty middle seats in the entire plane. And one of them's ours. And then, in the plane, if you don't want anyone to sit in the middle seat, you just don't look eye. You don't look anybody in the eye. And we were talking across across the middle seat. We would put stuff in the seat and then lean on it and talk to each other so that we make the seat appear as small as possible. And for whatever reason, it worked. We were one of the very few in there.
No one sat in the middle. So that was another win.
That's Southwest first class, having an open middle seat. That's first class on Southwest.
First class. If you don't have someone sitting in between you, that's a win. So we were in first class in aisle 30 or something like that. And so what else happened?
Well, wins just stacking up. Then we get to
we get to the hotel. We
get to the rental car.
Oh, rental car.
And we get a free upgrade.
Yeah.
And then we go get in the car and there's 4 total miles on the car. It's a brand new car. 4 miles.
Brand stinking new. So that's another win. And then so we get to the hotel. It was too early to check in. And so we hung out in the lobby and kept checking in.
That's a loss.
Yeah, that was a loss.
We couldn't check in early. So we did all of Naki's red carpet prep work. They're in the lobby. We took up an entire little section of the place, put our bags out.
We were fobby as hell.
I had my shoes off. I was sitting on it. Was like my own couch.
Oh, yeah. We can't go in. We're going to get settled right here. Carl had his shoes off. He was sitting on the couch. We had our laptop and our snacks everywhere.
Our bags sitting there.
Backpacks. Kept checking. They were like, no, we're not ready. We're not ready. So when it was time to get ready, because we were meeting Joey at 2:30, because the media. So at the gala, there we had the full schedule, the whole
media
agenda.
call.
The media call was at 3. Check-in 3. You know, you had to. There was just a time schedule, so we had to meet that. And so,
by the way, the time schedule all looked good on paper.
Yes, it did. It really did. But you know, it's a PIA event, so there you go.
By the
I don't even
second
have
time
to say
event,
anything
it was
else.
all wiped out. But
right.
on paper, it looked really good.
It was beautifully well put together. So we met Joey at 2:30. And then he checked in at 3, and then we didn't line up till 4. So 4-ish, maybe 4-ish.
So we sat in the lobby from like 11:30 to 2.
Yeah.
And we kept checking, saying, hey, can we get a room? Can we get in?
Yeah.
No. So actually, while we were there waiting, because the 3:00 media call didn't happen on time.
Yeah.
I got a phone call that said, hey, your room's ready. And I'm like, I'm irritated at that point because we needed it so Naki could get ready.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. So after Q and Naki leave to the red carpet to go do their thing, I take off and head to the hotel. I get to the hotel and I come to the same lady that said, hey, I can't help you. And the same lady that called and said, your room's ready. And I said, hey, I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm ready to check in. She goes, oh, okay. And she looks on the computer and she says, yeah, I don't see that your room's here. And I was like, excuse me, I have a reservation. She goes, no, I know, I remember you, but your room's not ready yet. And I was like, okay, first of all, you made us stick to the check-in time, which was 4. Your website actually says 3, but let's just say 4. It's after 4, and I got a phone call that said it's ready. And she goes, yeah, it's there's no room. And I'm like, I'm going full. I don't know what the male version of a Karen is, but I want to see your manager.
What is the male version of Karen?
I'm not sure.
Huh.
But I did whatever that is. I did that. I want to see the manager. Manager came out, explained the situation to him. I was like, I need to get in a room, and I'm not going to wait any longer. You got to find me a room.
Because you called me and told me my room was
right.
ready.
And weird. I sat down for like 5 minutes. He gave me, a bag of water and chips and stuff. And 5 minutes, I had a room.
Oh, nice.
I had a room, where I want it, near the elevator, all that kind of stuff. So hotel wasn't really a big win, but Jose was a win.
Yeah.
We hung out downstairs and we talked to Jose, the bartender.
Yes.
And just a good guy. Good guy working amazingly hard. And that's one of the things.
Really good. What did I have?
You had
I had some kind of drink.
Mai Tai.
Mai Tai.
How can we not remember Mai Tai?
Yeah, I had a couple of Mai Tais that were really good. So big shout out to Jose
but he brought up a good point. He brought up an interesting point of how they can't get people to come to work.
Yeah.
Like there's just not as many people working in the building. So the service is worse. And we saw that it's Embassy Suites. That's not like a full service Hilton or a Four Seasons or something, but it's still, it's a fairly nice hotel.
Yeah.
Service was bad. And part of it is they just don't have enough people there.
Yeah.
And neither did the restaurant.
Right.
The restaurant, the Esquire Grill said, we don't have enough people. And it gave me the feeling in talking and seeing how we got served at Esquire. They gave us to-go boxes.
Right.
They didn't have menus.
Yeah, they didn't have plates. So when we got served breakfast, it was kind of weird to me that they served us with like to-go plates. And I was like,
to save the dishwasher.
They didn't have.
They don't have staff.
Yeah, they don't have staff.
They don't have staff. And the Embassy Suites that we were at, Jose is saying that they didn't have staff.
Yeah, because before he worked the bar, because that's where we were at, the bar. And he would have somebody taking orders at the table. Nobody was there. But now, if there's somebody at the table, he has to go out to the table, take the orders, come back, make everybody's drink, and then sometimes go help and clean up. He said where before there would be 2 or 3 people at the bar helping, he bartended and somebody took the food orders and cleaned the tables. And now it's just him. And he was talking about how the manager steps in, general manager works overtime to cover everybody's shifts. And he even had an event that day, but he didn't go to the event to help out because he knew that the general manager would be bartending. And
he talked a lot about of how he felt like if he doesn't show up,
Yeah.
she's going to end up picking, like he was like, she will be in there folding towels
Yeah.
with the house cleaning crew, and then she'll run into the restaurant and be cooking in the restaurant and then go help the front desk. And I guess she worked like 30 something, some crazy amount of days straight.
Yeah.
And it made me really think about the whole service industry, the restaurant at the airport.
Yes, that's why we do
hotel.
Snacky with Nacky.
And it's a good segue into Snacky with Nacky, which we were feeling our way through. Nacky had her first experience at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, and we were kind of feeling our way through and weren't feeling it there.
I just wasn't feeling that. Plus, I didn't have all the cash. I just wasn't thinking I was going to do it there, so I didn't pull out all the cash from the Venmo. But I promise I'll do it this week. I swear. I'm shouting out Lani Huli, Manuleleuna, Fongasawa, Tawanu'u. Okay, look at all the PI people up. Are you guys done with church? Is Konga'i over? What's going on? Tell me what you ate.
So did your first experience with the famous Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, what do you give it? B, C?
It was okay. It was
Oh, not an A. I don't think it was an A experience.
No, the waffles were really good.
Waffles really good.
Yeah, the waffles were really good. I've had better fried chicken. Q had what did he have? Chicken liver.
Chicken livers.
That was good, and with gravy. You had grits.
I had the Obama. It was funny. We were outside, and Brother Q goes, "What are you gonna have?" And I was like,
you
Obama.
Already knew, yeah.
And he goes, the Obama. Dang, I'm like, the Obama or the Carol Special, and he goes, "You must have eaten here several times." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I know my Roscoe's menu, but it was." And this is, to me, if you're gonna go to Roscoe's, you need to go to the one in Long Beach, the one in Hollywood, or the one on Imperial and Inglewood. That's like real Roscoe's. We were by Disneyland. It was still good. But it's not.
Tadao said the chicken tastes like wood. I'd have to agree with you there. I've had better chicken at Popeyes. I'd have better chicken at Popeyes. So I agree.
You got to give it a shot at the Hollywood or the Inglewood location. It's better.
Oh, okay. I'll have to go.
Or there. Long Beach.
Fried chicken is not my thing. I like wings though, so that's what I had. But the food was okay. It was all right. It was crowded though. We rolled up and that place was packed.
Saturday night. I didn't think, it's hard to tell right now with COVID and reopening and everything of whether things are going to be packed or whether they're not going to be packed. But I think Saturday night, as we start to open up from COVID and we're maybe a half a mile from Disneyland, like we could see the closing fireworks at Disneyland when we were walking in the car. We're that close to Disneyland. I mean, now I look at it, I'm not surprised that it was full, but
I was getting a little weird looks, just because we had just come from the event and I was like in full evening gown
at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles.
Joy was in his his suit, which he took his jacket off, which made him look a little casual, but I was like full on stupid princess. I was like, okay, as me and Joey were walking to the restaurant, I was like, okay, we just came from the prom or something. He's like, all right. So it was okay. Would I go there again? No.
We got to go to the real one.
Would I go there again? No. But it's hey, I'll try anything once. So we get to the event. Yeah, I didn't have any grits.
Were good. It's hard to mess up grits.
I know you love grits. So we get there, we go pull up, and the red carpet was freaking beautiful. It was beautiful. The way they had everything set up. Sisa Gray, who was running around handling crazy everything. Her and Alici was checking people in with a table filled with women who, I'm sorry, I don't know. I only know Alici, so that's who I'm shouting out. So, but big shout out to Alici who helped connect us with Sisa Gray. And so she looks stunning, by the way. I have never seen Alici dressed up, and it was beautiful to see so many Pacific Islanders in evening gowns and tuxedos and suits. Everyone looks so beautiful. Alici was in a blue, beautiful dress. She looked stunning. She just looked absolutely stunning. Everyone did. Everyone looked beautiful. And I think we talked about this. It was beautiful to see this red carpet event and just 4 Pacific Islanders celebrating this legend, and to see the people that came out were like, whoa, like Aldrich Porter, who is a assistant director, screenwriter, everything. Like he's won Screenwriter Guild, Directors Guild Awards, a handful of awards, and for Apollo 13,
worker with Ron Howard.
Yes, with Ron Howard. Like it's a Pacific Islander that is working with Ron Howard, making these amazing films. We got to talk to him. He's so humble, and he talked about how he's, he in the field, it's just him. As he's growing, he's been in the business for so long that he said, I wish there were more Pacific Islanders that he worked with. So it's a really good interview. It's coming out soon. Follow Island City. They'll be popping out with all the interviews.
Island City, you can check out their Instagram page or social media platforms, because they have a lot of the pictures, especially on the red carpet. The event came off really well put together. And I like that when things weren't happening on time, that was like that PI flavor where we're laughing going, no, it should be this way. We should be, that because that's how we get down. And even if it's a, a formal black tie event,
right.
It was still, and you saw people rolling up way late, like Jesse.
Late. Yeah. Like, so the media red carpet event was supposed to go from like 4 to 6 or something like that, and it went way over, but it was really, really good. I met there's a new show called Totnai, and the Manu Samoa, who was the host, was there.
By new show, we mean a new media group,
new podcast. Right. They have a new podcast that's coming out, and so they were there. I got to talk to him. And then the other media group that was there was Island Block, Radio. Miss Lulu was there. And of course, Miss Lulu is married to Mata Gray, who is Jerome's son, Jerome Gray's son, Mata, who is also one of the members of Common King. And then Lulu has her own show on Island Block Radio. Everyone loves Lulu, which everyone does. Yes. She also looked fabulous. Everybody was just, they did a great job of the guests and the people that were there. Of course, the Anua'is were in the house, Manufo Liang Anua'i, and her son, who opened up the celebration by singing. Reno Anua'i opened up the show. So it was beautiful. Who else was there? I got to meet, so there's a picture up of Sisa, Joey, and myself. This was in the beginning. Sisa, I caught her like 30 seconds and she took off running. She was handling everything. Her and her siblings, like you seen them for a flash and then they were gone. So they did an amazing job. In the background, you can see the media area where everyone was at. But they did a really, really great job. So people come down the media red carpet, and then you would get We Are Samoa had their own cameraman and everything. So they would stop with them, take a picture. Then they would interview with Island Block. Then they would come to Island City. Then they would go to Kongai, there was 4 of us. If there were more, I didn't see them at the event, but there's a picture up of me interviewing Troy Polamalu and his beautiful date, his mom. And so he's there.
Does he brag about himself a lot? Is he real,
No, he's very, very shy.
Everybody that I've seen a lot of interviews, I've seen interviews with him, but then I've seen people talk about interviews with him and how just quiet he is. Like he's very quiet, very humble.
Yes.
You spoke to his mom.
All true. Siulangi, good morning or good afternoon. Happy Sunday. Alofa Moni, Yosua. Thank you for tuning in. So that is me yesterday at the We Are Samoa Gala, and I'm interviewing Troy Polamalu and his mom. And I ended up so they came late, and we were getting ready to close up
They're
close
even late
shop.
from PI time.
Yeah, they're even late for PI time, but we were getting ready to close up shop, and I seen their car roll up, and he pops out, and then he comes onto the red carpet with his mom and his two boys, and so he's getting interviewed by Island Block next to us, and his mom is standing there, and she says, "Oh my gosh, we're so late. You know, we're so late," and I go, "Honey, they're waiting for you. They are not starting this show without you," and she laughed and DJ Green, good morning. So his mom starts talking about, oh my God, I feel so bad. We were late. And I told her, they're going to wait for you. They're waiting for Troy. And then his son, his two sons were there, and his son comes over and he says, his son says, it's all now this kid's got to be 9 or 10, maybe 11 tops. And he comes over and he's standing there and he goes, it's all my fault. I had a basketball tournament and that's why we're late. And I said, your dad this is an amazing event, but your dad is going to stay and watch the whole dang thing. I said, did you win? And he said, yeah, we won the last 2 games. We're all high-fiving and talking about his game because, his dad was busy, but it was good to get to talk to the kids and his mom. And his mom was like, oh, my other kids are inside, And so when I was talking to him, which you'll see the interview in a little bit, maybe this week, he's very shy. He's very humble. Like it was when I had to force the mic into his hand. He literally was very shy. And so a good thing his mom was there. And I started talking to his mom about, how proud is she of him. And so it was great. It was a really good interview. You'll see that on Island City later on. This is the Island City team that took the red carpet. We partnered with Island City. That's Joey Kinga and our cameraman, Caleb, who was a fabulous. He was so good. Like there was a little downtime in between time, and I forget that the mic he has a headphone on, and so I was doing my, what do you call it, ditties, or I'm just singing like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And, he's sitting there, he was sitting there laughing. And I go, oh, I'm sorry. I forget that you have the mic on. Brother Vince. And we will talk about Brother Vince in a minute. Boog, a Big Goose Radio. This was one of the highlights of my evening. This is 49er greatness right here.
Why would you do that?
Oh my God.
He's a great player. But you don't have to shade everybody by telling everybody that he played for the Niners.
Oh, stop. This was one of the highlights of my life because I've watched this guy take us to the ship. So yeah, he was there. I don't even know how, I don't even need to tell you. He looks awesome. He looks great. So Mike Purcell was there. He plays for Denver. Billy V, who was the MC that night. I got to talk to him. Miss America of 2001, Angela Gray, who was married to Teenie Gray, Jerome Gray's son. It was a huge VIP star-studded event. Common Kings, look at that. Common Kings, Uncle Louie and Junior. They're very funny. I was fangirling out. So of course I was doing my selfies while on the red carpet, but they were very nice to stop and talk to us. And there's Miss Lulu. So she looks stunning. We have a picture of Lulu up. So she is with Island Block. We talked because they were right next to us. So we talked and I'm like, girl, you got to come Faika, like really Faika. So she'll be on soon, but it was such a good event. And this was my first red carpet and probably my last because it's very nerve wrecking kind of thing. Ray Follow. Hey, brother. Thanks for tuning in. So,
this is at the UFC, we always talk about media not interviewing people right after the fight. So don't make any decisions about future red carpets because you're a little emotional. We'll talk about it later. I'm not emotional.
I already told Q because we're standing at the red carpet and I'm just like waiting to interview people, and then Caleb and Joey go, okay, we're just going to do a preview. You got to walk down and, introduce, this is Naki at the red carpet. And as I'm walking down, I got all nervous and sweaty. And I was like, oh my God, this shit is real.
What are you nervous about?
I don't know. was just super. And then after that, I needed a drink. Like I needed a shot. I was like, oh my God, my nerves were a wreck just because I don't know, it was getting close and there was all these, prestigious and highfalutin people. And so it was really good. I had fun with our cameraman and of course everybody knows Joey. Hey Joey, I was like, dude, grab the mic. He's like, no, you're doing fine. I'm like, everybody. But it was fun. We got to interview Reno Emanafo. So Reno is named after the other Reno that was there, Reno on Hawaii, and his wife, who I've been dying to get my hands on, Tiffany Smith on Hawaii, who is the executive vice president.
Not just vice president?
No, the executive vice president. So she pulls up and I'm like, oh, hey, can we talk to you? And I was like, this is I said, this is the vice president of CBS Entertainment. She's like, girl, executive, get that right. I was like, okay, correct me. So, executive vice president for CBS Entertainment. That's freaking huge. She's amazing. The stuff that she's doing there, she's just, it was a blessing to see a Pacific Islander in that position. Like she has power at CBS.
She's a somebody.
She is a somebody. And so she's very, very humble. You don't see a lot of interviews of her because she really doesn't, she works. So, but it was a blessing to have a minute to talk to her. And she was there with her husband, Reno on Hawaii, who is part of the Samoan dynasty, legacy of wrestling, the Hawaii family, who also was there with Rikishi, aka Junior Fatu. So they were there talking. They were there at the gala. They stopped to talk to us and told us what they're up to. Reno on Hawaii, little Reno on Hawaii, was there. His song, his second single has come out called Stargazing, and this week, and it hit #1 on iTunes. Apple Music. It's #1 on Apple Music.
That's kind of a big platform.
Oh my God.
Apple Music. That's not like some nobody organization, but Apple Music, the #1 single.
Yeah, he has the #1 single. So if you haven't heard it yet, go download Stargazing. It's a beautiful song. And of course, we love Reno. So it's the #1 reggae single, I believe. I'm not sure, but he's #1. So regardless, go get your copy. And so yeah, that was my first event. I actually loved it. I loved meeting all the people behind the scenes as well as that were walking the front carpet, and they were very well organized. When somebody rolled up to the front they had signs that actually had the people's names, so they would take the sign and come to each media group. This is who is next. This is who is next. And so it helped prepare us for questions and get all our notes out.
It's interesting to see the behind the scenes of events, right?
Yeah.
So if you're only getting the final product, you're seeing it on screen and you're just like, wow, that's pretty cool. But just simple things like making sure that each media group has a shot at each of the people and let the people know where to go. You know what I mean? Like they wander in and it's like, if I have somebody ushering me over to this, and walking me through it, it becomes more of a process. So shout out to the Gray family. And
they did
organizing that and making it easy.
An amazing job. They did such a great job putting that together. And so after you come out of the interview, then there's a photo booth. I don't know what you call it, but you stand and the camera goes around and takes your picture. I think that's the latest and greatest thing I've seen, but they take your picture and then you're led into this area where there's poo-poos and the silent auction was going on. So they had a lot of great stuff that they were auctioning off, and they were going like flying off the handle. Lance Faletongo, thank you for checking in on Facebook. So the Gray family did such an amazing job. My words can't even is not doing it justice. Go check out the We Are Samoa Gala on their Instagram page. They went live all night. A lot of great entertainment. The dance groups were posting their videos. I mean, there was a lot of crazy, amazing people there. Of course, Jerome Gray was walking. I mean, he was the social butterfly. Like he was walking around saying, I think he said hello to every single person. And so, it's great to see like a lot of our elders were there, and a lot of people talked about them. They grew up on listening to Jerome Gray's music, and how it a lot like, singers. Paula Funga was there, and from Hawaii, I got to talk to her. And so she spoke about how his music helped inspired a lot of entertainers and sing representation, seeing his face on these videos, it was YouTube videos or some of their island music. In Hawaii, they played him on TV and stuff like that. So she said seeing somebody that looked like them really helped inspire her to start singing. So you go check her out on Instagram. I mean, it was just tons and tons of VIP superstars were there. So if you were there, awesome. You know what I'm talking about, but it was a great event. They just did an amazing job. That's all I can say. You just have to don't miss next year. It was sold out. They had to cut their they thought that maybe they would get like 200 people, and they got close to 400, and just had to, because of the capacity and safety, they had to cut it down to like, I think 350. So it was a big event. So next year, get your tickets, because they were fundraising for a nonprofit organization, education. And so we'll be sharing that information on our social media. But yeah, it was a great event put on by the Gray family, celebrating Jerome Fa'anana Gray. So there you go.
Hopefully that grows legs and becomes an annual event.
It is an annual event. This was their first one, so it was good for if this one is like awesome. I can't even imagine how it's only going to get better, right? The first one starts it, and it's only going to get better. So that was their first annual one. It's going to for sure will be there next year. So I've posted some pictures. I'll probably post more on my personal page, because it was really all selfies. And so the pictures that I posted is of me fangirling all over the place. So, and then I put a picture of me and Troy Polamalu on our family group chat. And my brother was like, was The Rock there? And I was like, no, but even better, Cap from PCC was there. And everybody knows Cap, because if you go to PCC, you're going to see him climbing a coconut tree. So
what was so funny was when I lived in Hawaii in like 92 or 93, I went to PCC, and Cap was in the Samoan village. Right. And different jokes, you know what I mean? But it's still his character, he's so animated, yes, and engaging. Yeah. And then when we were there in 2016 for your birthday, right, we were wandering through PCC, and then we went to the
and he was in
the Samoa village, and I was like, dang, Cap is still here and still in great shape, still just as energetic,
and he looks the same. So I'm like, you don't age. Right. What is your secret? And he said, coconut oil. I'm like, all right, this girl gonna go get some coconut oil. But yeah, it was a great event. I was so happy to be there. Thank you to Island City and the Gray family again for an amazing evening. And I had so much fun. So yeah, that was that. This week I watched, I have to talk, because I was busting out laughing out loud. Carl was the original coconut tree climber at PCC. That's bug. That's funny. Yeah. So Big Goose Radio this week, I'm talking about this particular show. If you haven't gone to see it, they had Jim Ati and Jordan Fountain in it. Is that right? Did I get his name right? I'm sorry. You have to go check out this show. It is so funny. They were on Wednesday.
Yeah, you got it right.
8 p.m. 8 p.m. They were hilarious from beginning to end. And I usually go to sleep at 8 o'clock. This show came on at 8:00. And usually on their shows, I check in, I watch for a little bit, and then I just fall asleep with my phone in my hand. The show was 2 hours that day. I was on from 8 p.m. I was on the whole time laughing, and it was a really good show. You really have to go to Big Goose Radio and check out the latest episode, all their episodes. If you haven't followed them, go follow them. But that was a laugh
awesome
out
show
loud
from the beginning, the very beginning, before they even brought the guests on. The energy between, I mean, it's just always, from the beginning all the way through, the laughter, the humor, and you know, shout out to Big Goose Radio, because you know you got a good show when you can keep old people awake.
That was me. And even Book said, "Oh, you're still up?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm still up. I can't go to sleep after busting up so much." So it was a really good show. Go check them out. It was, except for Manny had this kind of funky kind of thing around his neck. Huh, Boog? It was some kind of funky kind of necklace. I was like, what is that?
Did it have 6 rings on it?
No, it had like some yellow, kind of red and black kind of, I don't know, it looked like some kid scribbled on it, some piece of paper. But yeah, so that's it. Manny gonna get me. He gonna get me. But yeah, it's a really good show. Please go over to Big Goose Radio and check out the latest episode. It's
and they
really,
up
really
their production level.
Yes,
it
they have
is
a new
an
look.
awesome show from you know, from the production, the content, the guests, and the synergy between the hosts. It's a great show. And like I said, if you keep Naki and I up past 8 p.m.,
I know
that must be a good show.
It was very good. It was, Boog said, yes, very ugly. There you go. It's me and Boog are in trouble now.
Oh.
So yeah, that was a good show.
You did talk to a Hall of Famer. You talked to a Hall of Famer on the red carpet, right?
Yes.
Right.
Troy Polamalu.
Right.
Yes. Oh, I'm gonna send that picture to Manny.
Yeah.
But that's a good show. It was,
he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna go to break. It was a very good show. Really, really go check them out. They're part of the Island City family, and so we appreciate them and the work that they're doing. July 30th, they're having their Pacifica event, which we're gonna pop in and say hello and check it out, show some support. Joey said they're gonna be there too, so possibly the whole Island City Ainga will be there.
Yeah, we're gonna be there as spectators.
Yeah, we'll be there as spectators. I'll be eating. You know, I love to eat, so I'll be eating and walking around, taking pictures. So it's going to be a good event.
We came for Manny and Boog and the food.
Yes. So we're going to take a second and then get into some community announcements. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Faika Broadcast.
My name is Juanita Monesa Kim Yasu. I am from Chuuk, Federated States of Micronesia. I have been living in Vancouver, Washington for almost 10 years, or over 10 years. Airuku amen ertsagerikit atsi akawirki sotsu atsi pueki patsakuran irisit me patsakuran na atsakiak. Nagu patsak pukurawe why? Pun ngage badidarap mayor udubane. Even not a Karian, Nami Eki Patsakurisi, Pugami Fokurari, Nuakusuri Kerodirin, are report better for Fisigeri, US up to or thought to Wuru Lake. Iratsu Parusudai Witsen, Arangeli Patsakurisi, Pugami Witsen, I was up where on it to Wuru Ide. Nami Parwitsen, I was up where over there to Wuru Mogave, 50 figure picture, it gets also a family better. Kids start to kiss me where the thoughts we met thoughts yammer for Kuroti not already. Kids yammer Rizari, Toger family, get Togen either breeding. Irapota, Sipwe, a particular idiot, when Sipotawari to Buru at Toyatske ladies.
Nari Fanso. Nare Fanson, we are on COVID-19, I Sononeriat, our witness, only at the non-family. Not even soon, not even soon, we are already there. Not even soon, not even.
That's awesome. I wish I knew how to sing that song. Our Chuk community. I wish I knew the words because I was singing with them.
They're probably glad you don't know the words.
I am. Wow.
I'm still reeling from those unprovoked shots at the greatest organization in the history of organized sport, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah. For more information on the video that you just seen, please go check out Pikawa's Facebook, Instagram, all their social media. They have a lot of amazing, great programs that they have there. So go check them out. Check them out.
They're in Big Goose Radio country.
Yes, they are. Oh, we'll probably stop by there. We have so many places to go, so many things to do this year. We're actually headed to Fiji this year. We're headed to Fiji.
How do you know we're headed to Fiji? Naki, how do we know we're going to go?
Because we already got our tickets.
Because we already bought our tickets.
We already got our tickets.
A lot of people talk about going places.
Yeah.
Till you got the tickets. It's still just, I think and we talked about that.
Yeah.
We're like, we think we're going to go. We want to go. We're planning to go, but we're not saying we're going until we spent the money.
Yeah.
We got the tickets. Now we got to go.
Yeah. Usually when I travel and I would travel, I'd say, oh, hey, let's go to here and here. And I would get the tickets. And then the people that said they were going to go with me don't go. I'm like, okay, you're lost. So now I just inform people, hey, I'm going to Fiji.
These are the dates.
Here are the dates. If you would like to go, let's go. So we've got a few people who are ready to go with us. So I'm excited about that.
Going to be a good time.
You
know, talking about you having the microphone on and singing little ditties in between interviews, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to do an event, maybe the AMU event or some of the one event we're going to have to do with you and, like they do in football, mic'd up, where you're wearing a mic the entire time. I think that would be fun.
There was a lot of cursing going on yesterday.
There is in mic'd up too.
Yeah, there was a lot of cursing going on. Only because I was I forgot that Caleb was hooked up to me. So I was just singing songs. Anyway, this week, Lily Stevens, thank you for tuning in. Selma McMillan Brathia, hello. Thank you for tuning in. So this week, I watched good parts and I watched some bad parts of Ketanji Brown Jackson, who is getting, I don't know, what is she getting? Attacked?
Yeah, that's the process, right? That's what the Democrats do to when Trump nominated people. Yeah. So I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican.
Brutal,
they did Brett Kavanaugh dirty. They were like, but that's what the parties do. When you get nominated, you get put up there. And it's mainly for the Supreme Court justice nominees. Right. So a lot of things, the big things people don't realize about Ketanji Brown Jackson, she was confirmed by this same Senate last year.
Right.
So she was good enough then. They didn't bring up all this stuff back then. But once it's a Supreme Court hearing, like she's held federal judgeships before. So she's been through the process and hasn't been cooked like this.
Oh my God, it's awful.
It's awful. And I think it's insulting to the public, because really what you have right now is you've got a Supreme Court justice nominee in Ketanji Brown Jackson that's nominated by a Democrat president. Yeah. So you've got all the Republicans lining up to take shots at them, which isn't new, but what's becoming new is like Tom Cotton, Ted Cruz, Marsha Blackburn, the ones that are taking the biggest shots at her are the ones that are going to run for president. They're possible presidential nominees in 2024. I can't even
believe that Ted Cruz is running for president. And the only thing that's he talks a lot of shit, right? And so when his state was going through that emergency, what was it? The freezing, or was it? I don't know what. Texas was in the state of emergency.
Whatever it was, it was a declared state of emergency. Like in his state was a declared state of emergency, and then he disappeared and lied about.
He got caught.
Yeah, he got
getting
caught.
on a plane, leaving the state of Texas to go on vacation in Mexico, where he wants the wall built, by the way. He escaped, I'd have to say, to Mexico with his family to go on vacation. And then the press got a hold of him leaving or whatever. And then he was like, oh no, I'm just taking my family there and I'll be right back, or whatever excuse he was using. But we knew everybody found out that was not the case. He was going on vacation in the middle of this.
That's the thing, though. It's
emergency.
Like if you're getting on a plane and you're as high profile as Ted Cruz is, do you think it's not going to come out that
you're leaving,
whether it's good or bad?
Right.
I mean, whether there's nothing wrong with taking a vacation
Right.
if you're telling everybody what you're doing,
right?
But it's going to come out if you've told everybody you're going on vacation. You're going to end up on Twitter and you're going to end up on Facebook and Instagram, because people on the plane are going to be like, hey, it's, take a selfie with him in the background, because it's somebody that's he's a public figure. So to think that you could fly under the radar.
Yeah, especially when you're the biggest shit talker in the Senate, you know what I mean? So of course everybody's going to pay attention, but at least tell the truth, you know what I mean? Hey, we had this vacation set for whatever,
right?
I mean, or say, just say you were going on vacation, but just flat out say, oh no, I'm just taking, or whatever he was saying at the time.
He was dropping his family.
He was dropping his family,
because that's what you do, right? When your family's going to go on vacation, you drop them off.
Drop them off, and then you come back.
I mean, to me, that's a little demeaning to the wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you need to be dropped off. You're not an adult and you can't fly to wherever by yourself.
Yeah.
But that's what really, I used to like the confirmation hearings.
Yeah.
Because you actually got to hear about what the person thought about law.
Yeah.
It's not that way anymore.
No.
It's just an attack. It's an attack forum.
But you also see the people that you voted into Senate, how they conduct themselves.
But they're so like Cotton and Cruz and a bunch of them, they're really just talking about different topics that they're testing out to see, does their conservative base want to hear about? It's not really necessarily about Ketanji Brown Jackson. One of the photographs that came out that was really touching, I felt, was the one that's on the screen.
Yes, I love it.
And I forgot her name, but it was taken by a Black photographer from the Bay Area.
Oh, nice.
And she was taking pictures, and it was actually, she took the picture and she didn't tweet it out. It was actually used in, her, whatever company she was working for had used it, but she hadn't tweeted it out. And other people were tweeting it and not giving her the credit for the photo. So they called her and they're like, you need to tweet that.
Yeah.
So that's the story behind that is that was taken by a Black woman from the Bay Area, and she was taking the picture of Ketanji Brown Jackson, and then that part of her daughter, that's her daughter behind her, smiling
with
and
pride.
just you can't look at her face and say anything other than she's just beaming with pride about her mom being able to stand up and weather the storm of all this ridiculous questions that she was facing. And so I'm not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat. There were ridiculous questions that were put to Brett Kavanaugh. And I said, these are ridiculous questions. And now there's ridiculous questions being put to Ketanji Brown Jackson. But that's just the way the Senate hearing confirmation hearings are now. They're just a show because there's so many people watching. People say dumb things. She was very civil.
Yeah.
She was very professional in her responses when senators were trying to put to her, being light on sentencing with pedophilia. It reminded me of the QAnon conspiracy. They were right on the edge of actually just saying QAnon. But I wish she would have said, and she's too professional for this, and she's too reserved, but I wish she would have said, hey, I'm a judge. I rule on the law. You're the legislator. If you want determinate sentencing and you want minimums, then that's your job, Senator. You pass a law and make that a law, and I can sentence according to that.
Right.
But she's not. She's not. She conducted herself well. She
Yeah.
remained very calm.
Yeah.
I didn't see a lot of, flinching. There's some frustration with
I'd
repeated
have
questions.
snapped.
But yeah,
Ooh,
that's
I'd have
that's not
snapped.
my job to make the
Right.
law. And if I did say that, then somebody would come back later and say, well, who are you saying you're going to make a law? You're a
Right.
judge. You can't make a law.
I did like Cory Booker got on there and just praised her for the way that she handled herself, but also because she's the first Black woman to serve, who is going to serve on this. But he was just beaming with, like, the daughter looks here. He was just beaming with pride, and
There's a
that's all
lot
he
of
spoke.
people that are
Yes.
really proud of her and what she represents.
Mhm.
Again, I'll always point to, this is the same candidate that floated through the
Yeah.
confirmation hearings last year. It's
Right.
not the same. And they're not even talking about decisions or opinions that she's given since July of last
Mhm.
year. They're talking
Yeah.
about things that were before then. Well, then
Yeah.
why didn't you bring them up last year if those
Right.
were so important?
Right.
The other thing is they were just twisting things when they were talking to her. Like Marsha Blackburn was asking about, she had written a legal brief about creating a buffer zone for women that are going into an abortion clinic, right? And she was saying, like, there needs to be a pathway. They shouldn't be, having the protesters right in their face.
Yeah.
But it's a brief that she was writing. So
Mhm.
Senator Blackburn was like kind of trying to smash her on that. And she's, her point was perfectly made. She was, I was writing the brief. It's the opinion of my client. That's not my personal opinion. That
Right.
was the opinion of my client. And it was like Blackburn just didn't hear that and just
Yeah.
kept going on about, do you feel this? Do you feel that? And she had answered it that I was writing that from, the opinion of my client, not my
Right.
personal opinion.
Yeah.
But it's a grandstanding place, and somebody called it civilized jackassery, and I
Yeah.
like
I've
it.
seen that.
I
I've
like
seen
that. I like that
Was
description.
that the guy that was just sitting right next to Ted Cruz?
Yeah.
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 I wonder who he was talking
Jackassery
about.
that is a good description of what's going on right now. So
Yeah.
hopefully they get through it. She will be the first Supreme Court justice that has a public defender background.
Mm.
Imagine that. We've had 250 years of the Supreme Court, and we've never had somebody on there who was a public defender. That's
awesome.
Kind of hard to believe.
Yeah.
Very qualified. And that's one of the things is they're not
qualified.
attacking her qualifications.
Oh,
they're
no.
getting real nitpicky into you use this phrase or that kind of thing.
It's so stupid.
That's how you know they don't have much.
Yeah, they don't have nothing.
They're not talking
when
about
they started looking
qualifications.
for a little stupid stuff. They got nothing. They got nothing.
She'll go through. And even if the two Republicans that didn't vote last year and the two Republicans that voted for her confirmation last year flip, the Democrats still have enough. They still have enough votes, and we'll end up casting the deciding vote. If it ends up being a complete stalemate, will be
the vice president.
Kamala.
Yeah. Right. So she basically is in. So yeah, I've just been watching that, a little frustrated, but also prideful at the same time. Because there's, when the Democrats come on, they talk about everything amazing that she's accomplished and the work that she's doing. And then the Republicans come on and try to trash every stupid little thing they can think of. So it's kind of entertaining. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. It's kind of entertaining, but in the end, we know that she'll be confirmed because
she's so professional.
Yeah.
That's why she's where she is.
That's why she's where she's
at. That's why
if
she
that
is
was
where
me,
she is.
Tables would have been flipped. My earrings would have been coming off. So yeah. Very, very good. She handled that really good. So that was that.
That's that.
I think, are we done?
Yeah, I think
we're done for the, like I'm exhausted. I was a little bitchy this morning because my bag didn't make it through TSA.
No, that's
my bag didn't make it through TSA.
So Naki's bag made it from Sacramento to John Wayne Airport.
Yeah.
Without getting taken from her. She did not make it back from John Wayne Airport.
Yeah. I got to the gate and they measured my bag. Dang it.
And so I'm walking down I go in first. I check in. I'm walking down the ramp.
Be behind him.
She was supposed to be right behind me, and I get down there and I stop next to the behind the person that stopped in front of me, and I turn around and I was just about to start talking to Naki because I can hear somebody behind me, and I turn around and there's a lady behind me that's not Naki.
Yeah.
And I look around, and I called. I'm like, did they gaffle you for your bag?
Got me for my bag. They're like, oh, that bag looks a little big. And I was like, no, it's fine. It's fine. And then they measured it. And he said, if it wasn't for the wheels, you would have been good. I was like, but. Then they gave me
They snatched it up.
snatched it up. We used a different word, but could you have bought me a drink first? There you go. I think we're all done.
We're good.
Catch us next week. Tomorrow is Koviki Talk at 5 p.m. Pacific time. It will be in language.
In the Fijian language.
Fijian language.
Una Vani Dakua of
there you
Radio
go.
Bula Duavata.
Yes, she'll be on. The show will be in language. Koviki Talk, 5 p.m. Don't miss out. It'll be a good show because I won't be on. And then Wednesday, don't miss Big Goose Radio at 8 p.m. Also Wednesday at 10 a.m. we will be on Island City. Download the Dash Radio app, search Island City, and boom, you'll find all the greatness there
Boom.
at any time you check in.
So John Madden. Boom.
Search Island City. Have a great week. Carl will not be with us next week because he'll be traveling to Arizona or somewhere across country.
I will be traveling back, actually.
Traveling back. So I'm not sure who will be in the studio with me or if we'll even be in the studio. But come back to FICA with us.
Love y'all.
John Dummy made the beat and I'm gonna kill it. Yeah.